In his 16-year UFC career, Jon Jones has destroyed some of the greatest fighters in MMA.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting Jon Jones!
And Stipe Miocic appears to be his endgame.
Champion of the world, Stipe Miocic!
If Jones conquers the former heavyweight champion, his legacy will reach an untouchable status, no matter if he ever faces rising stars like Tom Aspinall or Alex Pereira. The real question is, a piece of his legacy puzzle. Let's dive deeper into this clash of titans to find out who has the advantage heading into UFC 309. Stipe Miocic, who is widely regarded as the greatest heavyweight MMA fighter in UFC history, if not of all time, is known for his strong basics, conditioning, power, and size. The Ohio native's success often comes from mastering fundamentals, like his jab, which he uses to set up attacks and control distance. Unlike other fighters, Miocic doesn't always throw hard jabs. He sometimes uses them to test his opponent's reactions and then creates openings based on his reads. One of his standout performances with the jab was against Mark Hunt, against whom he controlled the fight's pace and kept the Super Samoan guessing. He doesn't overextend or overcommit. Rather, he makes the other fighter empty their gas tank by attacking him first. In his first fight against Francis Ngannou, Miocic used that strategy to perfection as he was able to stay back, defend, and tire out the powerful striker before countering effectively. Miocic's low kicks are a key factor in allowing him to dictate the fight while being on the back foot as he attacks both the inside and the outside of his opponent's legs to disrupt their stance. Beyond that, Miocic has an exceptional ability to adapt. For instance, in his fight against Alistair Overeem, he used hand control to close the distance and land big shots, but against Junior Dos Santos, he mixed up his stance and punches to confuse his opponent. In his trilogy with Daniel Cormier, Miocic once again showed his ability to adapt as he focused on body shots in the second fight and used improved footwork in the third fight to stay out of range and land counters. Even though he primarily focuses on boxing, Miocic's wrestling background has been a key part of his success over the years. His college wrestling experience helps him both offensively and defensively, and it gave him a major edge during his time as the heavyweight champion, since most heavyweights he faced were striking specialists. As far as his attacking is concerned, Miocic often uses half-hearted takedown attempts to keep his opponents guessing and create opportunities for attacks. These feints make his offense more unpredictable, allowing him to mix things up effectively. In his fights against Junior Dos Santos and Francis Ngannou, Miocic used double leg takedowns and clinch work to control the pace. Against Ngannou, he adapted his approach, using his wrestling skills to off-balance and take down his powerful opponents. Miocic's top control is notable, as he often traps his opponent's limbs in half guard, allowing him to strike freely. He did this effectively against Ngannou as he focused on control rather than heavy ground strikes to maintain dominance. Miocic's takedown defense is also strong, and he's quick to scramble back to his feet if taken down. Against Daniel Cormier, for example, Miocic used the funk roll to create scrambles and avoid being controlled. Defensively, Miocic is extremely capable as well, as he has survived dangerous positions like Overeem's guillotine attempt. Overall, Miocic's boxing and wrestling fundamentals are solid enough to give anybody a stern test at 42 years old. But is he good enough to take out the GOAT of all GOATs? When Jon Jones says he's blessed by God, he isn't lying. His genetic framework has played a major role in his unmatched success over the years. Not everyone is blessed with such a long frame, and in MMA, that length brings a world of advantages. Jones wasn't the first lanky fighter to rule the UFC. Royce Gracie set the stage, and Anderson Silva followed suit, but the way Jones has used his physical gifts to perfection is a lesson for budding MMA fighters. In just a few decades, the man changed the perception of lanky physiques in combat sports because what was once seen as a disadvantage became one of the most sought-after traits for fighters. But having a long reach alone isn't enough on its own. You need the skills to maximize it, and Jones has that too in abundance. The New York native's toolkit is loaded with long-range weapons like a sharp jab, tricky oblique kicks, and a powerful push kick. His footwork, combined with the tools that I just mentioned, allows him to control distance masterfully, making it nearly impossible for opponents to trap him against the cage. And when Jones decides to close the gap, he can go toe-to-toe with the best strikers in the world, thanks to his durable chin and technical prowess. Not only that, Jones is extremely unpredictable on the feet with his spinning attacks and oblique and head kicks. He lands shots when you least expect him to and from an angle you never saw him hitting from. While Jon Jones may not hold the most wrestling accolades in the UFC, he arguably stands as the best wrestler in MMA, with a few Russians being the only serious contender for that title. Jones began wrestling in high school and achieved major success, including an NCAA championship win in 2006 and recognition as an All-American wrestler. Jones's wrestling has been a cornerstone of his fighting style, and it has allowed him to dictate where the fight happens and unleash his vicious ground and pound. His takedown defense is nearly impenetrable as well, making him incredibly tough to take to the ground and even harder to keep there. Throughout his reign as the UFC light heavyweight champion, Jones faced elite wrestlers, with Daniel Cormier being the most notable. In their first fight, Jones made history by becoming the first fighter to take down Cormier, and he did that 3 times while only being taken down once in return. The reigning heavyweight champion's wrestling stats are extremely impressive, with a 50% takedown success rate and a 95% takedown defense rate in the UFC. What sets Jon Jones apart as one of the greatest MMA fighters ever is his ability to blend different elements of his game. He transitions from wrestling to striking fluidly and keeps his opponents guessing with unpredictable tactics. Jones's unpredictability extends to his fight strategies. Confident in his skills, he ignores outside opinions and crafts unique approaches for each fight. Against Cormier, he surprised everyone by shooting for early takedowns, catching the Olympian off guard, and gaining control early on. He also shocked fans by standing and trading strikes with Thiago Santos for 25 minutes at UFC 239, ultimately winning a split decision. The dude always has a chip on his shoulder whenever he enters the Octagon. He always wants to prove something, like taking out a scary heavyweight in Cyril Gane at UFC 285 and proving that he was levels ahead of the Frenchman. It's these calculated risks that make Jones not just great, but dangerous, as he's constantly testing and evolving his skills against the best. We've all seen it before when our favorite fighter is on the brink of victory, only to make a critical mistake that costs them the fight. But Jones is built differently. Inside the cage, he's a cold, calculated machine and fights with the precision of a surgeon, showing little to no emotion as he systematically breaks down his opponents. Jones's preparation is a huge part of his success. He spends countless hours studying his opponents, ensuring that no surprise tactic catches him off guard. Will he be able to crack the Miocic code? Miocic last fought in 2021 when he was knocked out by Francis Ngannou. It's been 3 years since we last saw him compete, but Jones has only competed once in 4 years too, so there's little evidence to suggest if one or the other will suffer from ring rust. Maybe the time off has helped both heal enough to enter the cage in the shape of their lives. Anything can happen because it's all up for grabs: title, legacy, and GOAT status. Who will come out on top in this clash of titans? I think Jones will win and probably retire undefeated because, as good as Miocic has been as a UFC heavyweight, he's touching 43. Nobody gets better at that age. What do you guys think? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. If you liked the video, please subscribe to our channel and turn on those notifications. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.